V2 base from Fanatec with got the Porsche rim, and then I got the carbon F1 rim. So I was pretty excited to actually drive the McLaren with an F1 style rim, since that's what they do in real life, and the car seems to make a lot more sense now. But just with that rim and then the upgrade in base, I went from a CSR to this V2, so it's really not even comparable. But yeah, do a couple laps here. So far, I've noticed there's a little bit of push, corner entry, in mid corner. So that's I mean the set's pretty doggone good. Could definitely already just put it on the forums as is. Like right here, it pushes pretty bad in the middle of the corner. It's got really good traction coming off corner. Just gotta wait for that nose to come around. Still learning a couple things about the line, like best way to go through there. I think best way to go through there is hit the curb, but still not sure. Still working on this section too. I don't know, I think the biggest, most obvious thing for me with this V2 wheel is it allows me to save slides quicker, or more easily, just because I think the wheel's motors are stronger, so it can actually, because when you get sideways in a car, you're in a real car, the wheel will turn to the left real quick, right? It kind of almost automatically counter-steers itself, and you kind of just have to help it along. Well, with my old CSR, it didn't do that. The motors weren't strong enough to spin the wheel to the left, but with this V2, it's just, you know, you let go, you grab the wheel when you want to, and go on your way. So I'd say that's the biggest advantage to getting this new wheel. And then, of course, on top of that, you do have more overall feel, although there's still stuff missing. It's not perfect at all. I probably spent a couple hours tuning the wheel. I'm getting pretty close to where I like it, but I don't think anything's ever really gonna compare with the real deal. But don't get me wrong, this thing's awesome. It's just, it's not perfect. Well worth the money I spent. And right there, it's pushing pretty bad. Coming out of the corner and mid corner. And entry, really. Just all over in that corner. I gotta make sure you get slowed down so the frontal grip. You can get on the throttle pretty aggressive. Rear end stays underneath you. And at third, get that first apex, second here, second apex, and then just hug that third apex around the right there. Push is right there as well. Really do get a sensation in the wheel on that right-hander that's behind me now, and coming up over the crest. You can really feel the car getting light over the crest. That's pretty cool. It's a pretty fun corner too, just the way the car compresses and gets a whole bunch of grip. You just gotta be really patient. It's funny, first thing I noticed, this doesn't really take effect on this track because it doesn't have them, but when I was driving on Coda, I could actually feel rumble strips, which I could never feel before. It's like the first thing I tripped out on. Like I could actually feel each individual strip. Alright, so we got a lot of push in the car, which is pretty much normal for a McLaren. So it was a tricky pit entrance. It's always a good idea to practice it. And I know I'm not going to have many options here because I think all I've ever done with this car is try to get to push less. So, find letters. Oh, I can. Oh, lower the springs. One click. Doesn't really matter. I was just gonna see what my ride height is, but it was obviously maxed out, so just have to slowly click away until the front end gets back up. There we go. So again, took the spring rate down from 1,200 pounds to 1,100 pounds. Front end feels a little stiff. I mean, the McLaren's a stiffer car in general, but I'd like to get a little bit more body roll front end. I can't take the front roll bar down anymore because we're already maxed out on that. Could do the rebound down. Just debating right now whether I should do springs or this. I'm gonna do springs for the main reason that a lot of the corners I'm pushing in are pretty low speed corners, so that's not really true. I'm pushing around every corner, so I don't know. We'll just go with this and see how it works. I'm just trying to soften up the front end, basically get a little bit more roll out of it and see if we can get that weight to go on the front outside tire, which will give me a little bit more grip on that tire, and which will hopefully get rid of the understeer. You know, softer springs will help me hit those curbs a little bit more too. A little more give. Won't be quite as rough. So right here, I was talking about I can feel the steering get light right there. It's a pretty neat experience. Like right there, I even got a little sideways and it was no big deal. Just kind of did a little mini drift over the crest. There's definitely a greater sense of immersion. I feel more like I'm driving a car now as compared to my old wheel. Did a little bit better through there. I mean, of course, it's the first lap, and like I always say, you can't get too excited about first couple laps after making a setup adjustment because you're gonna have better tires. You're more used to the track, so more often than not, it's you just being more used to the track and having better tires is why you ran a faster lap, not because of a setup adjustment. And start my trail braking right, maybe a little bit after that 2 marker. Try and get a nice late apex here. On sideways. Swing it out wide. And probably later the apex you can get there, the better. Same with that corner. Just, well, I'd have to say it's almost perfect rotation coming out of that last corner. Oh, didn't really get it slowed down enough for that corner. Can definitely tell the front end's got some more rotation in it now. So now I'll brake a little bit after the 2 marker. And trying to get a late apex here. Pretty much always ready for it to oversteer as you hit that crest. Especially if you're just going to mat at full throttle. Oh. Premature upshift. There we go, personal best lap. Slow down a little bit more this lap because I came in here too hot. Front end's really doing a nice job now. I'll push you right there. So I think braking in between the 2 and 1 board is where you want to brake for that corner, at least for my style. I could do a little more oversteer there. It's better, but wouldn't hurt to find some more oversteer for that corner. There, it's getting pretty close, but again, could use just a little bit more, more front end grip. Time I broke a little bit closer. A little bit closer to the one board. I just don't know if I'd be able to drive the car like that with my old wheel. That's another thing. Kind of makes me think all these. I know the game's progressing, it's getting easier and easier to clutch slides too, but I also think your racing wheel has a lot to do with how able you are to catch a slide. Because with the my old wheel, it was more. I had just done so many laps with the car that I knew if I turned the wheel this much, I was gonna have to counter steer this much. Where this is just more natural. It's not something you learn, it's just something that happens. Alright, so we're going to save that. That definitely went in the right direction. Tire pressures look nice and even as normal. Pretty even temps on the middle and outside, or middle and inside for fronts and rear. The obvious choice is to just bring the springs down another click. Really all I got. Oh. Also thinking about messing with the wing. No, I'm gonna leave that alone just because I need it when I'm coming over that crest. When I get sideways, if I take any more wing out of there, I won't be able to make it around that crest. So what I'm going to do is decrease this low speed rebound dampening. Because what the low speed rebound dampening is, it slows down the rate at which the spring releases from compression. So as you're going into right-hander, the car is going to want to roll to the left as this spring releases here on the right side. By allowing it to release faster, you're going to transfer weight quicker to the left side and vice versa. So it makes the front end feel more lively. It also affects your weight transfer from front to rear. So as I get on the brakes, the springs compress in the front. You get off the brakes and start going through the middle of the corner. The front end comes up. So this is actually going to speed up the rate at which the front end comes up. So that could kind of be bad. We're kind of getting pulled in two different directions here. Because ideally you want the front end to stay down as long as possible to help just with the overall rake of the car. If you have the front end lower than the rear, then you're going to be able to, in theory, have more oversteer. So we're kind of getting pulled in two different directions. So this is kind of just experimenting. Take it down 3 clicks. And hopefully it just does what I want. So I'm really going to notice it on a corner entry as I'm trail braking, turn into a corner. That's where I'm going to notice it the most. That should help me for that corner too, because that kind of adjustment is really good for S-type sections like this right here. It just helps the front end to change direction quicker because it's transferring weight quicker. Ooh, went up to 4th gear there on accident. It's a bit excessive. But the whole idea is if you want to work on the entry of the car first, because if you can get the entry better, then you might not be tight in the middle anymore. So it's always best to work on the first part of the corner with your car. Then hopefully everything else falls in line, but if it doesn't, you can eventually work on that stuff. when you get done with dialing the front like that, felt really good. Again, first lap. That felt pretty good the way it got into that corner. Not too fast. Just not even paying attention. Maybe just getting on the throttle a little too quick there. Really front end under pushed a lot on me. Big purple sector. Yeah, I just drove in there way too deep last time. Caught a little bit of the grass. See right there, that's where I think this V2 wheel really saves me. So if you notice how fast the wheel switched back and forth, that was like pretty much all wheel, you know. I was just kind of guiding the car along. I've definitely been able to save a lot more tank slappers where it kind of swaps back and forth more than once. Usually you kind of do the swap once and then you kind of just, you're going around, but with this, because the wheel just reacts so quickly, it's a lot easier to save. No, that car is so much fun through there. I wish everybody had my base and wheel combo right now, because this is pretty awesome. I just smashed the throttle so early in the rear and just stuck. Too fast. Alright, save that. This setup's getting pretty close now, but I do want to change those springs again, just to see what it does. So, you can only bring these down one more click, so that's something we'll do. You have to raise the front again. There we go. And let's see if we just get that last little bit of rotation that would just make this dang near perfect. Yeah, in those situations like that, just coming out of the pits, the wheel just is so responsive that you can really just react to the situation how it's happening and not have to be predictive about your movements or program yourself in a predictive fashion. Yeah, nose just really behaves so much better around that corner now. And keep this setup change as well. Pretty awesome through there. I almost got through that section really good. Yeah, I really have no fear of minor slip angles at all anymore. Something I can totally work with. I think we'll be keeping this setup change as well. Yeah, that's nice. That's nice. It's not too often you can get on the throttle that early and just, you know, be able to crank the wheel on the rear and just stays underneath you. I just don't want to stop driving. Sometimes I wonder if it's better to swing it out like that, come back in, kind of treat it like a double apex instead of a just one constant carousel type corner. And I'll figure that out when I run some more laps. Alright, I'm gonna call it. Short and sweet and effective. First, make sure you always save your setup. Alright guys, till next time.